Hi everyone, my name's Anne-Marie. Welcome to Card Making Project 626. Now today we're going to be using some gorgeous Anna Griffin items to make our Valentine card. And I've got to say this is one of the prettiest Valentine cards. Mind you, they all are, aren't they? Please check my blog for the extra photos of the card and for the list of items that I've used. I'm going to run through the stamps and the dies that we're going to use, and then if you don't have these in your stash, you could maybe look for a substitute or something equally as beautiful that you could use. So the first thing that I'm going to use, now mine are very well loved, so don't judge me, but these are the Anna Griffin Sentiments and Stamp dies. And we're going to use just one stamp and it says love you. Now this is for the insert, so this is one of those things that you could substitute if you don't have this range. If you've just got a stamp that sums up your sentiment that you want to put in your Valentine card, use that. So that's the stamp we're going to use for the insert. We're going to use the All Heart 2 dies from Anna. I'm going to be using this die, and I'm also going to be using the large fancy die as well from this set. I'm going to be using an embossing folder from the Artful Patterns collection from Anna, and this is called the Ornate Tiles. I'm going to use the full embossing folder, not the border folder. And then I'm also going to be using just one of the compendium dies, and it's this one in particular actually, and it's just for something different for the layer on the card. So again, if you don't have these, you can substitute it with any shape that you have. So the first thing that we're going to want is our base card. Now this is a 7 by 5 inch card, and it's actually from the Anna Griffin Valentine card blanks. Now if you haven't had this, then there's so many of the card blanks that Anna has that would be suitable. It just so happens I've picked this one because I think it's such a pretty card and it's such a beautiful colour, and it's going to work really well with the colours that I use. I'm going to use my bone folder to make sure I've got a nice sharp crease along the edge of the card, so that when it stands up it will look professional and nice and crisp. I'm actually going to use my card landscape. I've already filled in the back with my name and the tutorial number. You don't have to put, you know, the number of your card or anything, but that just keeps me in check. So I've added my name so the recipient will know who's made it for them when you send it, especially if you don't sign your name. That could throw them a little bit. So the first thing that I'm going to do is the inside. Now this is a really simple inside. I've got one sheet of cardstock from Anna Griffin. It could be any cardstock. This is from some old cardstock that I had a very long time ago. I think it was the Paisley collection or something along those lines, and I'm saying many moons ago. I've cut it down to 4.8 inches by 6.8 inches so that it's going to sit inside our card for the insert, and I'm just going to position it inside the card like that. So the size that I've cut it to gives a nice border around the edge of the card. The next thing I've done is I've taken one of the cards from the Valentine card blanks and I've cut it down to make a panel. So I've simply cut away the edge of the card. Now I didn't have another one to show you it in full because I used the same card again on the front. So it's simply one of the pattern cards that I've cut away the back and cut around the design. And then I've used the Love You stamp just twice on either side of the actual card layer that we've cut out. I've used black permanent ink to stamp it, and as I said, I've only stamped it twice, and I've not stamped it central, so it's just something a little bit different. I've got flat double-sided tape on the back of this. I can peel the back of the tape away, and I'm going to position this over the top of our layer that we've just put inside the card, and then I can press it down. Now I can turn my attention to the front. I'm going to just quickly use my bone folder again to make sure that crease is nice and sharp. And then I'm going to start with my first layer. Now my first layer is a repeat of the layer that we've just added into the inside of the card. This time I've got 3D foam on the back, and I'm simply just going to position this over the front of the card. There we go, and I can press it down. Next, I've taken the concentric dies, I've cut out the shape that I showed you from the selection, and then I've embossed it using the Ornate Tiles embossing folder from the Artful Patterns collection from Anna. And I've just used the gold matte foil cardstock. I've got 3D foam on the back, and I'm just going to position that through the centre of our previous layer. Next, I've taken the large heart die from the All Heart Dies 2. I've drawn round the outside to create a layer for the base of the fancy die cut. And the fancy die cut, I've die cut in red matte foil. Now I've got 3D foam on the back of this, and I'm just going to position this over the shadow layer that I've cut out, and that could be in any cardstock. And then I've got flat tape on the back of the heart. Maybe you've got the heart dies from Anna, and you could use one of those to make a shadow layer for the fancy heart. Now I know you can see some of my foam in the middle, but that doesn't matter because that's going to be covered up, so don't worry about that. So the flat tape I've just peeled off, and I am just going to position that through the centre of our card, and I can press that down. Next, I've done exactly the same for the next two layers. I've cut out, probably very badly, drawn round and cut out from the die base to make a shadow layer for the fancy heart. Now again, the fancy heart I've cut out in the red matte foil cardstock, 3D foam on the back, and I can simply position that over my shadow layer. Now the shadow layer was just craft card, just plain craft card, and I inked the edges a little bit, and it was just to turn it in really. Again, I've got flat tape on the back, so I can peel that away. Now this layer is going to cover up any 3D foam that you can see in the middle, and I'm just going to position that over the top of our previous heart, like that. Next, I've got a sentiment. Now I've taken the sentiment from the mini flower and sentiment stickers, and it just says, I love you. I've peeled the back away, and I'm going to position it just in the centre of the heart. And then I've taken two of the roses from the same collection, which is the mini flower and sentiment stickers, and I'm just going to position the two roses at either side of our sentiment. There we go, press them down, and then I'm going to finish the card with a little red bow just underneath the sentiment. There we go, and that is our card finished. So we can see how the inside matches perfectly to the outside. It all tones in, and it's just such a pretty card. It stands up nicely. It's got quite a few layers. I think it would probably go in a normal envelope. It's up to you how much 3D foam you put on it as to the depth. You could forgo a couple of the layers, but it's just such a pretty card. Obviously, you've got lots of room for your message. You're not going to be signing your name because it's a Valentine's card. You're going to keep them guessing. Some of you might have a lot of Valentine cards to make. I've only got one for my husband, and I'm not sure what I'm going to make, but I'm sure it'll be glorious. So it's such a beautiful idea And there's so many gorgeous Valentine items that Anna has. You're not going to be stuck for choices. So please share this with your crafty friends. Share through social media, Facebook, etc. Give me the thumbs up if you've enjoyed watching. I do love hearing from you. And I would just like to say thank you so much for watching. I shall see you next time.